Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Everyday Investor, the hottest investment show in the world. That's right, I said it. I don't care who knows it. This show is designed to help us make money, to help us all grow our money. You see, we take our precious time, we go to work, we get a paycheck in order to provide. We go to work, and that's a blessing from God. We get a paycheck in order to eat. But imagine a life, if you wanted it, where you could work a little less and take that precious time and do what you want. Spend it with loved ones, family, friends, engage in a purpose that is greater than yourself. That is why the Everyday Investor TV show exists. Remember, when anyone offers you any type of investment opportunity, you always want to ask 4 questions to start. Number 1, what is the ROI, the return on investment? 2, when do I get that return along with the money that I put in? If somebody says the ROI is 20%, but it's over 5 years, then really you're making 4% annualized. If that is good for you, then good for you. Then you want to ask, thirdly, what is the minimum amount needed? And then fourth, what is the worst case scenario? If they can't tell you the downside, look them in the eyes, turn around and run real fast. Super excited about today's show. We're going to be talking to our friend. Wait for it. We'll be right back. Coming up, we're talking to Susan White Livermore. She's teaching us how we make money in the flip.
I actually only work about 15 hours a week, and I've done that by design. I don't do anything that I don't like doing, and I've had multiple coaches that have taught me that when you are doing what you do best and the people that you hire are doing what they do best and everybody's engaged and inspired and they're doing like 80% of what they do, they're loving what they do, the 20%, okay, you've got to do a little bit.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. We're going to be talking to Susan about how we can make money in the flip. Before we do that, let's find out what's happening in the world of stocks with stocks expert Omar Khan. Over to you, Omar.
Thanks, Rav. Omar Khan here, guys, with Data Trading. Weekly market recap. Markets are at an all-time high. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the TSX. Now, why is that? Well, the reason is because ultimately earnings drive stock prices higher or lower. So earnings, the amount of money that companies have been making, have been coming in really, really high. And also the outlook of these companies has been generally positive. So the market keeps running up. That's kind of counterintuitive to what normally happens in summer months. Summer months are kind of choppy. Now, they are at an all-time high. However, August, September, October, not statistically the best time of the year for the market. So we're really going to keep an eye on inflation, which seems to be subsiding now, and to see if this market can keep pushing higher, even though we're going into a rougher time of the year historically. Let's see what happens. Back over to you, Rav. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Omar. Always great to learn from you. Susan, thanks for being on the show with me.
Thank you for having me, Rav.
Yes, we've never met in person, or I think we've met in person, I've seen you, I think, from afar, but never really had a conversation. Our mutual friend, Erwin Zito, who's very active in the stock options, real estate investing, Cherry, of course, prominent accountant. You're part of their mastermind group, so I would always kind of, see you on social media, see what you're doing. Always wanted you on the show, and, this show only has 22 minutes, as they say. So we can't talk about all the things you do. One of them is the flip. So I look forward to learning how you're flipping homes and bringing in students, I think, and all that kind of good stuff. But your wife, mom, investor, author, coach, all that stuff. Talk to me a little bit about, kind of how you got started. I know you're a big believer in mindset. What does that even mean, mindset, and how did that come into fruition?
how did I get started?
Yes.
My younger brother inspired me when he was in university. He bought a property, no money, no job, $20,000 in debt, managed to find, he didn't know what it was at the time, but managed to find himself an investor. And they bought a property. My brother managed it and they owned it for 5 years, made $100,000. And I'm thinking, wow, if this kid can do it, anyone can do it. So when he sold that property, he went and bought another property behind Georgian College in Barrie. And he called me up one day and he said, I'm buying a property. And I was like, I had FOMO, fear of being left behind. And so I went the following weekend and bought a property myself. And so we bought 3 properties. And that was kind of my beginning. I did no research. I just jumped in, right?
So those 3 properties, like they were from the builder or the resale?
2 of them were from a builder. A third was from resale. Got really lucky that I was in a great market, because the market can always help you out whenever something goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
And there were things that went wrong, but we did extremely well with those properties just because we were in such a great market. And I went full time in about 2009. And that's when I started to research what I was doing and how I was doing it and all that sort of stuff. And I remember going to the mindsets thing started for me when I was at an event, rain event. And I was sitting at a table. It was my very first meeting. I'm sitting at a table. There's 8 of us at the table. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm the guinea pig. I'm the new person. And I'm here to learn from all these people. And we went around the table and I was in shock that I was the one with the most properties at the table. And I'm like, and I was asking, how long you've been doing this? How long you've been researching all that sort of stuff? And they had been like 1 year, 2 years. I was like, what is going on here? Why are people not jumping in? Like, what are they waiting for? And that's the piece that really got me into mindset and what holds people back. And it's fear. And so I'm fascinated when I do coaching. I spend about 50% of my time talking about mindset and where are your blocks that are holding you back. And then the 50% on the how-tos.
No, that's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, when I say this, I mean this well, but there's, we all can be seminar junkies a little bit. And, I always say, I'll never know everything. I'll never know A to Z. I mean, that's what life is about. And the progression of life is to continue to keep learning. So you got to pull the trigger. I don't know if it's just A, B, A, B, C, A, B, D, A, B, C, D, but you've got to be able to say, okay, I have enough knowledge. I'm going to pull the trigger, and then you figure it out kind of, as you go along. Now, I don't think in your coaching practice you would tell people to go out and buy 3 properties just because their younger sibling did. Bring me back to mindset then again. So what does that entail? I mean, give me the, step 1, step 2, step 3 to get into the right frame of mind when it comes to anything, being a great spouse, being a great parent, being a great friend, investing in a business, real estate. Mindset is not just to be an entrepreneur. Mindset is for everything in life.
Yeah, I really dive deep into this sort of stuff. And I start with, what are your core beliefs? Because I start with, whatever you think on a regular basis is really what you believe, and you only act on the things you truly believe. And the problem is, when we are young, we get information from all sorts of different areas, and we have no capacity of deciding what is true and what is not true till you hit 6 or 7. But you're still getting information from people that you trust, but it doesn't mean that what they're sharing with you is necessarily true, right? If you grow up with someone that is an entrepreneur, then that's all they see. But if you grow up with somebody that really believes in saving money and that's the way to do it, you're going to have a hard time stepping outside of those beliefs that if you let go of that money, that you're not going to be okay, or you're going to be okay. So it's really understanding where your beliefs are, where you're getting the information. And if you're not where you want to be, you need to go out and find those people that are where you want to be and start. What are they doing differently? What do they believe differently? And watching them, absorbing them, start thinking like them, start building their beliefs. And that is where you're going to see the rubber hit the road, because as soon as you start to think like them, you're going to see the potential way further than, if your mom and dad taught you that, a hard day's work for a hard day's pay, until you buck that current, you're going to really struggle. So those are the types of things I'm going after, core beliefs that not your fault, but just sort of the way we were raised. And I shut down media. Media is one of the worst things. So it's really controlling what you believe and then going after the people that are making it happen.
Well, I love what you said, and it's so important about what you allow in your mind, what you allow in your brain. And so you've got to fight. We've got to fight very hard to put the guardrails, to put the boundaries, to protect our minds, because what goes in your mind goes into your heart. What goes into your heart becomes your behavior, right? And so, very wise. Love that you're coaching. I'm assuming that you're being coached as well by many people. I always tell people, if your coach doesn't have a coach, run real fast. And so we need to have mentors in our life. No, I love that. So tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, it might sound, I don't like to talk a lot about it, but I'm going to ask you to talk about it. Tell us a little bit about your portfolio, the different types of investments, what you kind of like doing. Let people into, Susan's portfolio, if you will.
I consider myself a jack of all trades when it comes to real estate investing. I started with the student properties. That was simply because it was the thing I was most familiar with. The only time I had ever invested in or rented in my life was as a student. So starting with student properties made a ton of sense to me. But it quickly became a lot of work compared to owning legal suites or triplexes, that sort of thing. So I started with the student properties, and then I went into rent to own. So I educated myself in 2000. I spent a ton of money learning how to do all sorts of different strategies. And then I went into rent to own. Then from there, I actually flew to Calgary and I built a portfolio out there. So from in 2012 to just last year, I owned a bunch of properties. I built legal suites out there. And then from there, I've been building legal suites here in Barrie. So that has been mostly my bread and butter. I adjust to what the market is doing. So right now I'm into flips just because that's what the market makes sense to do. Because the rents, although they're rising, they haven't hit the numbers that make sense to build legal suites right now. So I'm doing a ton of flips right now, and some wholesaling. But so really, whatever the market drives me to do, that's what I've been doing. And then I use some of my money and I invest with some of my colleagues. I like to stay where I am happiest and most joy, because I find when I am doing the things I love to do, the stuff comes easier and I don't get caught in grinding it out, because I'm not a proponent in grinding it out. This should be fun. And if it's not fun, find somebody who's doing it and take a piece of the pie. So I give some of my personal money to colleagues of mine that are buying buildings, because they can go do all that stuff. That's their jam. I get a piece of the pie, but my bread and butter is the smaller stuff. And I like to stay close to my clients that are wanting to learn the basics of real estate investing. And those are like the people that feed me the most, the ones that are really wanting to just get in. So I really stay in that market of the single family homes, 2s, 3s, that sort of thing. But the bigger stuff, I invest with a colleague of mine.
No, I love it. I mean, you stay in your lane and whatever is going to allow. I mean, Susan, I don't do, there's no perspiration that comes here. I mean, I just write checks because I did. I would take your money and we'd go, buy this and I'd make you money on this and we'd split it 50-50. But now it's the other way around because I want to enjoy my 20-year-old son. I can't believe it's 20. If I think about it, I might cry. My 18-year-old daughter, my wife, you know what I mean? And it's important. So how does millionaire mom, how does mom do all this and still have, a family life? People are probably wondering. Talk a little bit about, protecting that.
I actually only work about 15 hours a week, and I've done that by design. I don't do anything that I don't like doing. And I've had multiple coaches that have taught me that when you are doing what you do best, and the people that you hire are doing what they do best, and everybody's engaged and inspired, and they're doing like 80% of what they do, they're loving what they do. The 20%, okay, you got to do a little bit. So I have really, anything I don't like doing, I hire out. So I have an assistant. I don't have my own property management. I hire out for that. I have multiple different contractors that I hire out for. Anything that I don't want to be doing, I hire out for. That allows me to have, I work about 15 hours a week, and that's including coaching time. That's including finding deals time. The thing I probably spend the most time doing is connecting with other people and networking, because then that's where I do best, as I draw opportunities to me. I get known for what I do, and people call me, hey, I've got this deal. And then from there, it's like, you got to make it happen. You can't have someone call you and not act on it. So if it's a good deal, you got to, otherwise it'll dry up. Yeah. But that's really, I really team sport it out. I hire people to do as much as I possibly can. And I know, like, I don't pick up a deal unless I know that I have the numbers to expense the team I need.
Yeah, no, love it, love it. Leveraging out so that you have the time to be able to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. Great stuff. Susan, let's take a quick break and we'll come back. We're talking to Susan. We're learning mindset. We're going to learn how to make money on a flip. Don't go anywhere. Everyday Investor continues in a moment.
At Theta Training, our goal is to help you achieve financial freedom by teaching you the foundations of trading stock options. Join our growing community. Learn through our live-streamed weekend course, or develop your skills at your own pace online. Understand how the stock market works and how you can use the options market to earn additional income. Achieve financial freedom and live life on your terms. Let us help you build your empire.
Hey, it's Rav. We're talking to Susan about how to make money investing in real estate, today specifically the flip. Before we continue that conversation, let's find out what's happening in the world of mortgages with Kyle Ford. Over to you, Kyle.
Thanks, Rav. This week we're going to talk about B lending. What exactly is a B lender? A B lender is a financial institution that doesn't necessarily fall under the same banking guidelines as the big six banks that we all know. B lenders have the ability to qualify and underwrite income differently than A lenders. Though we still maybe need to fit into the same ratios, a B lender can use different forms of calculating income. Just as a quick example, an A lender for somebody who's self-employed is going to use 2 years of net income to qualify for your loan. A B lender may use 6 to 12 months of bank statements to qualify that same loan. This could be a dramatic difference in terms of what you qualify for. For more information on what a B lender does, don't hesitate to reach out to myself and the Kyle Ford Mortgage team. Thanks, and back to you, Rav.
Thanks, Kyle. Always great to learn from you. Susan, thanks again for being on the show with me. And it's so great to finally have you on the show. Like I said, I've seen you from afar, heard about you. You're, the millionaire mom.ca. You're a coach. Your book's coming out soon, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
You got a book coming out soon. You're into all sorts of different kinds of things. But I'm really grateful that you said, hey, it all starts with mindset. I mean, if you are disciplined and have your mind in the right spot, then you can do a lot of things in this life, especially when it comes to relationships, not just speaking monetarily. That helps, helps us put cheese on the burger if we want to have cheese on the burger. But more importantly, relationships, spirituality, all that kind of stuff starts in the mind. So thank you for sharing that. Now let's talk about some numbers. So teach me, Rav, how to make money flipping a house. So where's your most recent one?
The one I'm going to talk about today is actually just outside of Barrie, sort of close to cottage country, boating area, in Livermore. And this is really close to a marina. So we picked up the property for $490. So it's all about buying the property. So if you want to make money, it's buying the property. You need to know your numbers. This is the most important step of any deal, as far as I'm concerned. You make your money in the buy. And we knew we had this property appraised as soon as we bought it, and it came in at $585. So we knew we had money on the table from the beginning, but there was lots of work, and we knew there was an upside to this property. So what we've been doing with this particular one is this is sort of a social media campaign thing as well. So we've had students come in and help us learn the process, do the renovating, and learn how to get the HGTV feel of it.
No, I love that. So are you saying that it was appraised at almost over 100,000 without doing anything?
Because of what the market is doing right now.
Because of what the market's doing. And you couldn't be further from the truth. You've got to know the area. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to put lipstick on it, or I'm going to do a lot more than lipstick and expect to get a return. You should be able to buy and sell the next day and still at least make a few bucks. And that's and those types of opportunities, if you have the right mindset, are out there. They're out there. You just have to look for them. I think the mistake people make is they think this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I need to jump on this. But that's not the case. When you have the right mindset, there's opportunities all over the place. And now you can pick and choose that. So I love that, Susan. And I love the fact that you're bringing in students and educating them. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. The other thing I want to note to that is that in this market, people think that they can't find deals, but if you have that attitude, you're not going to find anything. But if you think, okay, there is opportunities, you'll start to see them. But you have to have the mindset that there is something out there. Otherwise, you give up before you even get started.
Yeah, great point. So on this, what's our down payment? Is it typical 20% or?
We paid cash for the whole thing because it's a five-month hold max.
Now you have multiple properties, so are you inviting little old Ravs to come into your deals?
Yeah, so I would go to one investor or two investors for a $490 deal. Each of them put in $250. They get 10% interest on their money, and that's how we fund the deal.
Love it. Now, and who goes on title? Who's on? So in that example that you just gave, so let's say Rav is going to lend out the $500,000. We're going to pay cash, and I'm going to make 10% on an annualized, right? If it's a 1 year, I'll make 10% on that money. If it's shorter, then we'll adjust it appropriately. Am I on title? Or you're on title.
I'm on title. So we will secure it against the property that they're $490. So yeah, okay. There's a mortgage, but we used all the money. We're not putting any of our money in.
And let's say, Susan, that we come into a situation where Rav goes on title and Rav also puts up the cash. Susan and her team does all the work. Then what's kind of the returns look like?
50-50. So we would do 50-50. For a flip, I typically would use just cash. If I'm going to hold it for a longer period of time, that's when I would look into bringing a 50-50 partnership in.
Okay, great. So $490, but then where's the reno cost?
Yeah, about $70,000.
On top of this?
Yep.
Okay, so reno, $70K. And this is including closing costs, or there's more?
No. Then closing costs I had at about $11,000.
Let me just say 10 for numbers.
And we need realtor fees.
Okay, I'm at $570K to buy buy it outright, reno, closing. I'm at $570.
$32,000 in realtor fees, so that brings us up to $600.
Yeah. So let's just say thank you for including that. A lot of times we don't, but we need to if we're going to be honest. Okay, so we're in for $600K.
Okay, and I'm also got to pay my investor, so I'm estimating about $10,000 for my investor.
$10,000. So this tells me because the investor if we gave you around $500,000, that would be $50,000 over the year. But you're saying you're in and out of this in how long?
Hopefully, 3 months or so.
3 months or so. Wow. So that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully if you didn't write that down, viewers, just rewind. All right, so here we go. So now we're
610, and then a sale price of approximately 725. So we're hoping to make $115,000 on this one.
So we're gonna sell at how much?
725 seems to be the average of what we're seeing out there. Now, this is more of a home run. My average, I would say, is between 40 to 60.
40 to 60, that's your profit.
Yeah.
But that's after, I mean, that's for you after you've paid out your investor, the realtor, the government in closing costs, lands transfer tax, all that kind of stuff. You know, $100,000 in a few months is not bad. You're saying 50, 60,000 is typically what you can expect.
40 to 60.
40 to 60.
Yeah.
And when you, Susan, when you build this kind of team, we're not just doing one and then the next one. Like, I'm not just doing 4 a year. I could do 10 a year if I had a system in place.
I have 3 going on right now. Yeah.
You have 3 going on right now. Wow. And so, you know, somebody's watching and they're saying, I want to be Susan White Livermore. I want to be her. Is this what you're coaching? I mean, obviously, when you take someone on and you coach them, we're going to teach mindset. But are we also going to get to this if that person, you know, has the makeup to be able to do something like this?
Yeah. It comes down to the number one thing is finding the property. Once that happens, the rest of it is really easy, provided you are willing to work with a team. And you can work with a team well and trust and start from a position of trust as opposed to being nervous about everybody you bring onto your team, and understanding that when you bring somebody on, it's not written in stone. If it doesn't work out, then you move on. And it's not as bad as people think it out to be. But the hardest part to me is finding the deal in the first place.
And we are talking to the mailman. We're talking to the hairdresser, or you are, I'm not, but we're talking to everybody because they know, hey, this person, I mean, it's a win-win situation. We're not trying to take advantage of anyone, but you know, it's kind of these types of people that know that there's an opportunity here. This person needs to get out. This person needs to, and you know, I used to be a realtor, broker, the whole works, love them. Are they the ones that are helping you predominantly realtors, or do you find a lot of these things off market?
I would say, I have people that just know who I am and say, hey, my neighbor is selling a property. Might you be interested? I've had colleagues send me properties. They don't want to do deals in the Innisfail Barrie area. And then I do a campaign myself. So I'll send out letters, and sometimes I'll get tons and sometimes it's slow. It can come from anywhere. So to give you an example, I took from September to December off last year, and I decided, okay, the middle of December, I was like, okay, I'm just about ready to come back. And within 3 weeks, you know, just sending out the notice, I'm ready to come back. I had 3 properties in a very short period of time. So it's just putting out that energy that, okay, you're ready, and believing that you're going to get those opportunities to come through to you.
Love it. Susan, thank you so much. Time flies. For you that are watching, if you want to be coached, contact Susan. If you want to write a check and invest, contact Susan. Susan, thank you so much for being on the show. Really, really appreciate it. And we have to have you back just to see what else is happening and what you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. It was great.
Yes, you're welcome. And thank you guys for watching. Without you, we would not have a show. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.